There we go. Looking good. Ready? Welcome to Books We Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Jason.
I'm Nicole.
And today is our last reading for Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke.
If you have not read all of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, you need to stop this video and go and read. Hopefully you take a little more time than we took to read because it's a really great book. But you need to stop this so that we don't spoil anything for you because we're about to start spoiling stuff like right now. So, if you're catching us on the replay, chat us up in the discussion box. If you're catching us live, chat us up in the chat box. I don't know. We are on YouTube Music as a podcast. I don't know that we can say present tense that we're on Instagram, but we have an Instagram. Send us memes.
I'm not sure I ever reconnected it after I got a new phone. So that might be part of it, but I'll figure that out.
So Peggy doesn't know if she really likes this book. It is just like the witnessing of the return of magic to England. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
It was,
and it happened through Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, but it happened because of John Inglis. Uskglass.
Right. Okay. Well, so let's slow down for a second, right? And because I have some questions about that because I'm not sure I understood. Number one, I enjoyed the ride. Absolutely here for it. I had a lot of fun. I thought it was weird. I thought it was. I thought like we've talked so many times about like the immersion. I really enjoyed that. I have been saying since last week at least that I was concerned that the ending would ruin the book for me, and it did not. But it was fast. For such a long book, the ending was like wham bang, right? It was very, very fast.
Too far. I was gonna bring it up.
The book is already moderately psychotic. It gets progressively more psychotic, literally, as you continue towards the end, and then it just like you feel like what if you bring all the threads together and then like wrap it up, but like what if just all the threads being together and like you don't have to wrap it up, it's just done now. And that's what it felt like there's obviously an ending, but the ending is not the point. It's obvious that like the journey is the point, because the ending is just like a thing that has happened to you. So I don't mind the ending, but like if you blinked you were gonna miss it.
Yeah.
You know. Thoughts?
I love the ending. I love that Strange has become Norrell. They are the same. They are both trapped together in their darkness. I love that.
I do like that.
Because we don't need to be subjected to their stupidness. But they're trapped there together to learn new magic, to figure stuff out. It's the only way they could be happy.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's kind of cool. I love that Stephen was released. I love the way in which he was released. The whole time they were trying to get John
Uskglass
out, and they're thinking that they are welcoming him to England with this magnificent magic.
Right.
And it went to Stephen. And even Stephen was like, this wasn't meant for me, but like I'm going to use this. And he was just brilliant. This poor man was just so abused. He lost everything. He never belonged anywhere. And he got to be the hero of the day.
Yeah. Well, and then he does, I guess, become a king. It's implied, right? Like he goes on to be a king somewhere in Fairy.
In Fairy, yeah. He takes over Lost Hope.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. I do like the wrap up for Stephen, right? I enjoy that we get like some justice for him. I don't really. I do also agree that like the being trapped in darkness together is sort of like a fit end for the mages, but like I don't really care. I care a lot more about Stephen's wrap up than anybody else's. But we got like no time with that wrap up, right? It's just like, oh, by the way, everything ended well.
It was an accidental consequence to the tomfoolery of Strange and Norrell.
Yeah. Okay, so can we jump back then and explain to me this Strange and Norrell are really a spell being done by John Uskglass?
Yeah.
Explain that. What's going on?
I mean, that's it.
But like why? Why is he doing a spell?
To bring magic back to England. and they're just pawns in the game. They were the ones to carry it out. But it wouldn't work for Vincula to die. Vinculus to die. And so we do see John Uskglass for 1 second.
Right,
he
right.
comes back to bring back Vinculus. He's like, whoop, went too far.
Yep.
And then he's out of there.
Okay, interesting. Okay. See, I thought maybe it was something like where somehow John Uskglass, like, I was expecting for John Uskglass to be like the Raven King, to be trapped by the tinsel hair man or whatever, this brown hair, whatever, and for him to like cast this spell using the mages to like get him out because he couldn't get himself out, right? And that's just not it. It's just about bringing magic back. Okay.
He wasn't trapped. He was in control the whole time.
Yeah, just chilling, doing his thing.
We thought it was going to be Norrell. Then we thought it was going to be Strange. But the whole time it was Uskglass.
Right. Interesting. Let's jump into the chat.
They were as tiny, like when the raven looked upon them.
Right.
And they were like, wow, it's a really big raven. And Strange was like, no, we're just that small.
Right.
Like they thought they were so big. They're out here waging war against Napoleon.
Right.
They are nothing in the eyes of the Raven King. I love it. It was so good. Can you tell how much I like this book? I'm like geeking out. I love it.
It was definitely a lot of fun. I definitely want to see the movie.
Every
or the shows.
footnote, I just loved it.
Well, there's just so many details, and like, there was one in like the final chapters where like we took this little detour again, and I was just like, man, like what a great little addition. I love the implication that like English magic is necessarily different from like any other kind of magic, you know, but like English magic also works elsewhere. Right, like so, English magic works in
Italy,
Venice,
and it worked in
right. But that English magic is tied to fairies. The fairy can go to other parts of the world, but so like for some reason their magic is not the same as English magic.
That's very English.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And like at one point we were like, this doesn't seem to be an English wood, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like it's just the woods,
right,
brethren. Like the woods look the same.
Well, you're right. We have English tea, which is like. Oh, really? Y'alls?
Oh. You know, that is just very English of them to be like, it's the gentleman's way.
Well, and there was a comment about, I think it's while he's walking around Venice, where he talks about, like, Strange says something about these buildings were built in the common way.
Yeah.
And like, only an Englishman could think of, like, Venice as being common, and just, like... not English enough.
Well, and I think there's just a lot of satire in the book about society and stuff like, you know, like just the whole, like these people, the gray, who are they? Sorry.
But like his love interest there at the end.
Yeah.
In her family.
So what do they
Gray
do?
Steel? Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, but that's the point of being a gentleman, is you don't do anything.
None of them work.
Yeah, but
how do they have all this money?
But well, so you get your money as it's other people work, and you get it from like your possessions, or so like what your land generates, whatever. And so that's why in the earlier parts of the book they made such a big deal about like he has an income of £900, right? Because that is just like what he passively generates.
It's just their mailbox money.
Mailbox money. Yeah, for sure. So that's
crazy. We gotta get caught up on the chat. There's a lot of chat.
Here's a lot of chat.
Man, Lascelles really took a turn.
Yeah, he kills
kills Drawlight.
Right. Which, number one, fine.
I was pretty happy about it, except that, like, you know, I don't know, Drawlight hadn't done anything wrong in that moment.
Sure.
Well, you know what I mean?
In
like,
that moment, yes.
He just needed to go deliver his little message. Right. He just got killed and turned into a tree.
You know, talking about Strange sort of becoming Norrell by the end, Lascelles basically becomes Drawlight.
Yeah.
Right? Like he kills Drawlight to protect his influence over Norrell.
And who'd he kill right after that?
Doesn't he kill Vinculus? Isn't he the one who
kills
Vinculus? Yeah.
And he was like, and it was fun.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Lascelles just went off it.
Yeah.
If the bad gentleman died, why are they still in darkness?
Yeah, I agree. We're supposed to be led to believe that the thistle-down-haired man, right?
That
TDM
he created?
That he is the one who somehow put the curse of darkness
Oh, I didn't get that.
I think that's what we're supposed to believe.
Oh, I assumed it was the Raven King.
Probably not, because like the Raven King could have like let it up at this point. It might be, and like now he's like cursed these two magicians, but like why would he curse them? They were tools that did their job. But Strange Strange says that it wasn't him who created it. I suppose it's possible that he did. But
Well, okay, so originally I did think that Strange created it, just on accident, and everyone implied that he did.
Yeah, yeah, but he says he did not. I think we're supposed to believe that the TDM did it. To just to like mess with.
Well, and I guess it's possible that if it's magic that doesn't require a constant stream,
I mean, it
wouldn't go away when he died.
I would not expect hard rules from this book.
Yeah,
right? Like it doesn't
Right.
matter, you know.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Why are they still stuck in darkness?
One of my favorite things about this book is they do give you sort of like these mechanics for how magic works, and like Strange will several times be like, "Well, I needed this to happen, so I wrote a spell for it." And you're like, "What does that mean?" But like nobody ever tells you what that means. He's just like, "And I wrote a spell for it. I just wrote one, and it worked, and that's great, right?" Like, I love the whole like absorbing this woman's madness by drinking like rat powder.
It smells like about 50 cats in here.
Yeah,
Very specific. Watching his descent into madness.
that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
And he'd be like, "Ooh, I went too hard on that one." Like, maybe just a dash next time.
Yeah.
It was so fun. And then the one time it like came back and he hadn't had any, he was like, "Whew, that's strong."
Right. Yeah. All right. So Peggy is confirming that the TD Hair Man, I don't know if I can say that, TDM, right? Cursed him, and that's where the darkness comes from.
Okay.
So that's what I had thought.
So is it, maybe is a curse different than just like magic? Maybe a curse stays
Maybe so.
until you have to find a way to break it.
Yeah.
Shelby's here. Shelby. Hey. The cat lady. That was really gross.
Yeah. But like how genius, right? Like, oh, if the mad can see this fairy, then I need to be a little mad.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's such a clever little workaround, following the rules or whatever.
And the moment when, like, this down hair man doesn't think he can see him, and he's like, "Hand me some snuff," and he's like,
Yep. Yep. Well, okay. One of my favorite parts is, like Strange is trying to explain to somebody like what is going on, and he's like, "I'm being chased by a fairy and a butler," and like it's true, right? They keep showing up, but that was enjoyable. But yeah, the ride was cool. I enjoyed sort of like the Lord Byron character just kind of being thrown in there, and like running around. That was fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Just a lot going on here.
This book had a lot going on. I stand by it. I said it last week that I think this is one I'd want to read again.
Sure.
To like pick up all the things that I missed before.
Sure. Definitely.
Yeah. For sure. See if I have any notes.
I know I did figure out that I could make bookmarks while I was driving, so I probably dropped one.
Yeah, but you'll have to like hear it to
I know.
hear what it said or like why you left it.
I don't even know how to get to that point.
Clips and bookmarks. It's in the little dot up at the top.
Gotcha.
Meanwhile, yeah, the end felt sudden. Shelby, Jason agrees with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just
Well, and his
kablam.
descent into madness was really long.
Yeah.
Like, just that whole process of... Because we had to get to, like, how do we even know about the cat lady? And then how does Strange know about the cat lady?
Right.
And then the process of becoming the cat... like, the whole thing just took a really long time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end was just like you said, wham bang.
Well, I think, too, that, we're kind of told a lot of this from, like, the story is being told by an unknown narrator. Mm-hmm. But it's relying heavily on John Segundus's, like, histories or whatever. And so, like, I think part of it is that I'm not sure that Segundus really knows, like, what all happened there at the end, And so I think we just got to get, like, here's kind of what happened, and then we don't get the details. So.
Poor Segundus living in that house while the magic was, like, happening with Lady Pole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it had such a strong effect on him that he was just constantly motion sick unless he closed his eyes.
Yep.
Boy, howdy. That's just terrible. I do have a couple of highlights. In chapter 50, the history and practice of English magic, like all these official people were just like sitting down to make decisions, and then they're like, and once they were done with business, they settled into gossip. And it was like all these gentlemen, you know, and I just thought that was really funny. And then in the Black Tower, the phrase "not best pleased" came up 50 times. Like, well, he was not best pleased that you did this, and then she was not best pleased that you did that. So I said, I'm best pleased of the use of the phrase "best pleased." And I also love this. So when Drawlight goes to talk to the Greystones, or whatever they're called, and he's telling them all these terrible things about Strange, and Uncle Dr. Greystone was like, absolutely not. This is nonsense. He's a good man. I wish you no good morning. I take my leave of you.
Yes.
I want to start saying that. That's such great honesty.
Yep.
I wish you no good morning.
Yep. I hope you have a great... I hope you don't have a great day.
Yeah, a Southern lady could never. But I want to. I wish you no good morning.
That was fun. I also... So I think it's after that he kind of gets upset that Greysteel or whatever won't listen to him. And so he goes and talks to his like head servant. And he's like, I know a man who would certainly hire you. And the guy's like, come out here and like take a look, and then kicks him into
the canal.
That part was fun. I enjoyed that. I went through a phase when I was a kid where like I kind of wanted to be like a butler. Like I still think I still think like that sometimes. I enjoy being like the second in command. I don't necessarily want to make the decisions. I just want to like make it happen. And that's sort of like what, you know, a butler's job is, right? Like you're the chief butler. And so like in Downton Abbey, my favorite character is the head butler guy, right? But so I sort of like the loyalty that these servants have to their, you know, masters, I guess, where they're just like, no, absolutely not, because they, and like take it or leave it, it might be a Stockholm syndrome sort of situation, but you know, like that is my honor that you are impugning, you know, so we'll chuck you into the water.
That is a good email sign off. I wish you no good day. The rest of the world's using like blessings. Per
my previous email, I wish you no good day.
Segundus. I know, Segundus was a good guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
And I feel bad for him. You know, he could have been great. Because he had the curiosity and the reason and the intelligence. Yeah. And then he was just hindered, and then he ended up taking care of Lady Pole. And
I love, like, to the last moment, how much the TDM guy does not understand that, like, Steven does not want to be there. And every time Steven, like, tries to say something to rescue himself and his friends, the guy's like, I have never thought of this before. You give me such great ideas. And he's going to kill...
Oh.
It's not Drawlight. But he's going to kill somebody. And... Yeah, it's definitely not Drawlight. He's going to kill somebody, and Steven's like, please, sir, don't. And he's like, all right, I give him like 5 years. And there's like a footnote that says like 5 years exactly, he dies.
Yeah.
Of like a heart
Byron,
attack.
Lord Byron.
Was that? Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was Lord Byron. Yeah.
Dude killed everyone. Yeah. You know, according to him, on the path to get Steven's name. Yeah. And poor Steven is just like, I don't want any of this to happen. Yes. And then also poor Steven, every time Thistledown-haired man did something horrible, all Steven could say was, you're too good to me. Thank you so much for all your blessings. It was just horrible. What a bad little fairy.
Isn't there a part where like they go into Steven's house and they find like all this crazy stuff, right? I feel like they find like all his treasures and they're like,
what the boy got to work for?
I hope he's happy in fairy, living out his little mad fantasies.
I bet he's going to make that little house so pretty and so healthy, and
I hope so.
He'll be such a good little leader to all the fairies.
Yep.
And release all the people who have been trapped.
Unless he goes mad, he does it again.
Yeah. So this author has written several other books.
Oh, really? Like what?
I don't know. It keeps popping up on my Amazon. They all look the same.
Right.
They all have the same style. She's definitely on a theme.
We've never had an author on the show before yet, but like I want to get this lady on and be like, okay, for all these like fun details, the stuff that like really makes the story good. Because like this story is like fine, and you could tell it any kind of way. It's all the random
It's how
details
she chose to tell the story
that make it fantastic.
Yeah.
And I want to be like, okay, was all this in like the original draft, or did you have like a buddy who was like, hey, right here, throw in some crazy nonsense?
I was reading the acknowledgments, and there's a particular author that she acknowledged and thanked. And now I understand how she writes the way she writes, because this author also writes the way that he writes. He who must not be named.
Oh.
God.
Yeah.
And he's such a good author, but
The next Sandman series comes out like next week.
it didn't get canceled.
Comes out.
He's such an incredible
Yeah.
storyteller, and she seems to be too. I hope she removes her association from him. He's just so yucky. So anyways, The Wood at Midwinter. I mean, look, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
I judge books by covers.
I mean,
Piranesi.
okay, so that book is highly recommended.
Maybe we
Like
have a
highly,
little,
highly, highly.
not soon. This
And-
should have been before
I did not know she wrote that.
The Ladies of Grace Adieu.
No, The Will of the Many. Is that her?
No,
that's
that's
somebody
James
else. Okay,
Islington.
that is on my list as well.
Okay. So there's at
Babel
least
is also on my list.
3 other.
Look at
Well,
this.
this is all recommended reading based off of this book.
Okay, well, so I have a lot of books that are
So yeah,
recommended
we've
based
got
on
some
that.
good stuff. Apparently, that one's been recommended to
A
me
lot,
several times.
yes.
Sorry, y'all can't see my screen. Dungeon Crawler.
Peggy, yes, that is correct.
Carl. Yes, you better put an asterisk in there. Don't list his whole name. A word of curse. Yeah, I mean the covers do look really good. So, anyways, I loved it, and I want to like relive it, and I'm mad that I'll never get to like read it for the first time again. It was just so good.
Well, and so I was reading something on the Wikipedia, like, you know, this style is also very much like some of those older books are, right? Like Jane Eyre and things, or like it's like written in sort of that high style.
At the end of the book, it recommends, Jane Eyre.
yeah, okay, I didn't know
yeah.
that.
Yep.
But I really, I mean, like, good on somebody for being able to like replicate that and everything. And I think about some of these stories that I have like bopping around in my head, and that, like, I've never like thought about how to write, and I feel like I write. Like, when I try to write anything, I write better stiffly than I do, like, conversationally. It's like, maybe that's the way. So,
That heightened tone.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mark of, like, an epic or, you know, a fantasy. Will of the Many.
Okay, yeah.
Was that the one that you had just mentioned?
That is one of the ones that's on... Piranesi was the one that is highly recommended.
That one. Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, we'll have some things to swing around with. We'll hit all these.
I'm pumped. I'm ready. Our next book is very different, but it takes place in Scotland.
Yep.
I was just kind of figure while we were in the area. If we were in the area. Kind of.
Sometimes.
Kinda. See if I have any other notes. Switch to my other app.
I mean, I guess I just don't really have that much to say. I felt like it was... it was just all very overwhelming there at the end, and we do recognize that like this was too much reading for 3 weeks probably. And I enjoyed this book, I really did, and I'm like you, I would probably go back and reread it so that I could take my time.
Yeah.
And so if we have anything approaching this length in the future, we will be doing it longer.
It'll be a 4-weeker. Yeah, we've learned our lesson. Because it just,
too
we
much.
couldn't savor it. You
Yeah.
couldn't enjoy it. I did highlight a part where like Strange has absolutely become Norrell. They are one and the same now. And it was when they were trying to figure out like what John Uskglass was doing in Yorkshire or whatever, and Strange was like, I dare say he came here on purpose to make me mad. Really?
It's like all about him. Yeah,
All right, Norrell. Norrell was intolerable.
for sure. Yeah, I like Strange more. He's practical. I mean, he tells everybody everything. He wrote all his stuff down in his little books.
Oh, that whole
The whole like everybody's
storyline of all the books disappearing. Norrell, you're so terrible.
Yeah, that was a good time. How about Childemus, right? Basically,
Yeah, I get it, Childemus.
yeah, he basically ends up serving Strange, but really he ends up being like a servant of the Raven King, all things considered. Yeah. So
How did he not understand that he was face to face with the Raven King? He was like, "Not 2 days ago, you said that you served me," and he's like, "Norrell? No, idiot!
Yeah.
It's the Raven. You were face to face with the Raven King."
I think Vinculus was sort of like a tragic figure. If like obviously Stephen is the person I feel worst for.
And
I feel
Cole and
yeah.
Lady Strange.
I guess I feel. I don't know why I feel worse for Stephen.
Because he knew.
Yeah, he knew.
Was trapped.
But also, like, not only was he like trapped, at least like Lady Pole may not be happy in her like little London house where she doesn't want to hear dancing and stuff while she's awake, but like. At least she's a white lady, right? Like,
yeah.
Stephen had it rough all the way around.
Yes.
And so that's why I feel worse for Stephen and why I'm glad he becomes a king and all that. And, like, I'm glad the ladies get freed and get to go back. But they only had one half of their life where they were, like, enslaved, really. And I get that Stephen was a free man or whatever, but, like,
no, but
okay,
he
bro.
lived in... He had this constant awareness that anyone at any time could beat him.
Yes. I mean, like, free man, right. That's...
Not get in trouble.
It's, But so that's why I feel worse for him. But after that, I feel worse for Vinculus, I think. Because, like, his life is sort of, like, predetermined by his dad eating a book. And, like, you know, like, he was a tool the entire time, you know.
He was crazy.
And a madman. So there's that.
When the words started changing, I don't know, that was all crazy, too. But yeah, but now they have opened the school for magicians, you know?
Yeah.
And we all got to read, like, put that away, sir. Someone else is going to have to read the words in the no-no spots. I don't want nothing to do with it. And it looked like they were going to let women in? Question mark? They were like, go tell that man he can't bring his family. Yeah. And he's like, oh no, she's the magic one. Oh, and their dog, too. Yeah. God. Yeah, Lady Pole being... Yeah, I did love her rage.
Yeah. Well, I like the part where she's... oh God, what is Strange's wife's name? Arabella. So Arabella's like, oh, you came to save us. And Lady Pole's like, no, you didn't. Did you come to save us? And, like, of course he didn't, because he didn't know they were there. So he says no, and she's like, see? How frustrating. That scene was frustrating. I enjoyed the way it was done, but it was frustrating. So
this book is the equivalent of an hour walk on a treadmill. Benefits, sure, but you go nowhere forever until you just pull the stop card. I mean, yeah. That's a good metaphor. Good metaphor.
I mean, it's one of those things that I've often said I enjoy, where it's like it's just a story, right? It doesn't like I guess it changes the world in theory, but like not in any meaningful way that we get to see it, right? Like the ring isn't destroyed, the empire isn't destroyed,
right?
The Dark One isn't destroyed.
There wasn't a call to adventure.
This is just a story. It is a little history, you know, and I enjoy that. So. Because I mean, like you could replace this magical stuff with just like. What if they were two carpenters or something, right? Like you could have just like done this basic story about like madness and professional jealousy about basically anything, you know. Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah, definitely enjoyable.
So good.
Do you want to ask our question about the next book while we're thinking about it?
I think we decided before we started what made the most sense.
Cool.
So our next book is very short, and there's a 4th of July weekend in the middle of it, so you end up with kind of a long time to read a short book. So you'll have spare time to read other things, or you know.
But we'll put this out. We'll put out a syllabus for it, just like we would anything else.
So. Oh yeah. We'll do it here in just a second.
Yep. Mix this book with Dune. I'm here for
it. Speaking of, I keep blocking it with my head, but can you see?
They can see.
Okay.
You just can't see yet that they can see. There you go.
There you go. Yeah. I've moved them around. I've reframed them.
Yep.
I love our little cross stitches.
Mm-hmm.
And Wham Bang is still over there.
Yep.
Which you got a gold star from Peggy earlier for Wham Bang.
Yeah, I did.
Speaking of Wham Bang, should I say it?
What?
That our next book I found because it was on the like if you liked, what was the name of that book?
It said if you liked the
Flanders panel,
then you would like this. And I told her not to do that. But yeah, I said if you like Flanders panel, you would enjoy these books. And that's where she got this one from. So I hope it's good.
it looks like it's going to be really good. And
I thought Flanders panel was going to be really good.
it has won awards.
I think Flanders panel won an award. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say that on YouTube. But like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good little time.
I think it's going to be so interesting. Yeah. Now, look. It's called The Bookseller of Inverness. If you don't want to read it, just pick any other The Bookseller of book that you can find and just join along.
Yeah.
And we'll all talk about our bookseller books.
I really do want to do sort of like a Dan Brown history sort of thing. I've been kind of hankering.
National Treasure.
Yeah, I've been hankering for like a Templar mystery. I kind of enjoy those. So, you know, this is not that.
No.
But, like, we'll get around to it.
No.
But like still.
Like a man who survived the war and goes and owns a bookshop. And he noticed a man kind of looking around the bookshop and reading some books and stuff. And then the next morning he walks in and that man is dead on the floor with the weapon right there.
So it's a little mystery.
A little historical fiction mystery.
Yeah. I like a good mystery.
In Scotland.
Yeah.
How fun.
How fun. I hope.
It's going to be great. It has really good reviews. It's very short.
That's the selling point. It'll be fine. I'm looking forward to it.
So if it's terrible, it'll go quickly.
Well, and then we'll pick our next book. So, yeah. All right. I really don't have anything else to say at this point. We're just like spinning our wheels,
chilling, talking to the people. Anyway.
Yeah. So all things considered, this was I really enjoyed it. Peggy says she sent you a Dan Brown adjacent book name. The Name of the Rose. All right, I'm here for that. That sounds cool. Send me that. Or like, don't let me forget it, and I'll look it up. But yeah, all things considered, I really enjoyed this book. If you are hearing me say this now, you have already read it, so I hope you enjoyed it as well. We need to do another tier list again sometime. Yeah. Like I know that
it's been years.
I know. I know that the club has like their ranking system, and ours is loosey-goosey compared. But like maybe we do that.
Oh, they have metrics. I have. It made me feel
right. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Shelby says that if Bookseller of Inverness is the same as Flanders panel, we'll get another cross stitch. That's fun. I like that very much. So. Okay, very cool. Well, we appreciate everybody booking it through this book with us. And we will be putting out our syllabus next with our plan for, out of what, 10? Like,
oh, no. Shucks.
Out of 6?
Becky has a tough scoring system.
That's good. I still don't understand. We'll have to do a whole thing. Because I still want to understand. But anyway. We'll put out our syllabus for the next book, Bookseller of Inverness, and you can go ahead and get started this week and follow the syllabus so that we can meet up next Sunday for our first reading of this book. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Happy reading.
Happy reading. Out of 10. That's tough.
It is tough.